It's the greatest blessing and privilege to be part of the grandest experiment that's ever been made.
We have this system of a democratic republic where we can choose who represents us.
Who's teaching your kids at college, and what are they learning? Hello again, I'm Jack Hay, president of Patrick Henry College, and that's the question we're highlighting for you in this three-part series. We're taking you inside the classroom as we ask PHC professors and students to answer some really important, deep questions. Their answers, we hope, will encourage you and give you hope for the future and for our nation. Last week, we heard from Professor Douglas Favolo and Caleb Knox as they talked about moral courage and how important it is to a life well lived. This week, we're shifting gears a little. I'll ask Dr. Michael Haynes, chairman of the Department of Government and professor of government at PHC, and Hope Turner, a junior government major in the American Politics and Policy track from Peachtree City, Georgia, the following question. What does it mean to you to be an American? What an incredibly important question these days. I'm looking forward to their answers.
So, what does it mean to be an American to me? Well, growing up and my family, we didn't show much emotion. You weren't allowed. And there were only a couple of areas that you could show emotion. And that was God and the flag. And maybe once in a while, some politics. But other than that, you just don't show emotion. So what does it mean to be an American to me? It's the greatest blessing and privilege to be part of the grandest experiment that's ever been made. A democratic republic. Can a free people actually be self-governing? And just as important, can they flourish? And I think the answer is been shown now, and the answer is yes. The United States has been an exceptional country. In my opinion, it's been the greatest country that's ever existed on the planet, largely due to God's blessing. Interesting, at the beginning of the Civil War, the rest of the world said, aha, the grand experiment has failed. But it hadn't failed. In fact, the Civil War showed us that just how strong actually a free and self-governing people can be. So it's a blessing to be an American citizen. But with all privileges, you also have duties. You have responsibilities. John Adams, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but John Adams said the Constitution was made for a moral and religious people. It's totally inadequate, he said, to any other. So we not only have the right to be involved in our government, we have a duty to be involved in our government. And that can look like in a different way to a lot of different people. It could be just going to community meetings. It could be running for office. It could be simply making sure you vote every single election. But politics, just like most areas of life, don't allow for vacuums. So if you and I don't stand up and give our voices and our values, and we step back, then someone else with totally different voice and totally different values will fill the void. We must be involved. I've had a privilege of actually being involved. I've been elected to local office. I've been a city councilman in Charleston, West Virginia, my hometown. I was also the county chairman there, elected there, and I've also been elected the county chairman here. It's not always fun. You quickly learn that you can't please everybody, and you learn that you sometimes can't please anybody. But that's still, you need to be involved. You need to be having your voice heard. Now I have the privilege of teaching here at Patrick Henry. I teach some of the brightest minds in the country, and hopefully we're preparing those minds to be the voice and to hold the values that will hold this country together. And I'll leave you with a quote from one of my heroes, Edmund Burke. And again, it's a paraphrase quote. Burke said that, and you're probably common and you probably know this already, but Burke said, all that we have to do, all that all that has to be done for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. So that's a challenge for all of us to step up and to be what we should be as citizens of the United States.
What does it mean to me to be an American? When I think about that question, I think about the American dream, that you can work hard enough and be anything that you want to be, do anything that you want to do. You're not forced into any situation. You're not forced into any position in life. That, to me, embodies what it means to be an American. And it falls into two different categories. The first is the freedom of choice. America was founded on principles like the right to liberty. I mean, the very namesake of this college so famously said, "Give me liberty or give me death." He was willing to do that for the sake of liberty. Ever since then, America has been dedicated to the cause of liberty. And that's not because of any institution, it's because of its people. The American people have always felt that the freedom of choice is of vital importance. That's why we created a system built on self-government. And that's the second part of what it means to be an American, that idea of self-government. The idea that we, the people, are in the best position to govern ourselves. We have this system of a democratic republic where we can choose who represents us. We could even be a representative ourselves. Little kids can say that they want to be president when they grow up, and they have the opportunity to do that. To me, that's what it means to be an American.
Thank you, Hope and Professor Haynes. Wow. I put this quote in our booklet, Preserving America for Future Generations. Conservative principles alone will never stop the advance of darkness. Those principles must be solidly anchored in transcendent truth if liberty is to be maintained and strengthened. Ultimate salvation comes through the gospel, not a political or philosophical ideology. This is an important distinction for me. I truly believe that ultimate salvation does not come from man or any country in particular. That is the purview of God and God alone. But we know the United States isn't specifically named in Scripture. However, we do know that God has used America in a mighty way to be a beacon of hope and freedom for the world, and a haven from which the gospel has spread forth to many shores and many people. You know, we love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, but we also love our country. We're proud to be Americans, and we intend to be good stewards of this incredible blessing that God has given us. I hope you'll join us next week for our last question, when I'll ask Dr. Roberta Baer and Simon Sefcik, a junior from Ferndale, Washington, the following question: is Western civilization a concept even worth defending? Another incredibly important question. Until then, may God richly bless you and your family.